Welcome everyone. Welcome to this video where I will be tackling about two topics within the subject contemporary, popular, and emergent literature. My name is Mariane Feniza of BSED English 3A. Now to proceed with, we have the topic first of comic strips. Comic strip is an open-ended dramatic narrative about a recurring set of characters told in a series of drawings, often including dialogue in balloons and a narrative text published serially in newspapers. Okay, we talk about comic strip, it actually refers to like the series of drawings within a certain page, no, that actually tells a story in a chronological order, wherein the dialogues are usually presented in a balloon, white balloons. Okay, yeah, these kinds of comic strips are usually seen within newspapers, and sometimes the purpose of it is actually to entertain those readers. Okay, I have an example of the comic strips. You have here. If you have noticed, there are lots of boxes now wherein presented this different scenario of the story. Yeah, if you seen as small balloons, mga white balloons that actually represents or that is where the dialogues are actually being written. Yun na siya. Okay. Next, the storyboard, web storyboard. Storyboard refers to the story of visual representation of a film sequence and breaks down action into individual panels. It sketches out how a video will unfold shot by shot. We'll talk about this one before coming up with the drawings of the comic strip. One has to create the draft first. Okay, muna ang purpose the storyboard. It serves as a draft before actually coming up with like the concrete comic strip flow. Because storyboard has you planning kung unsaon nimo pag-present ang entire story within a single page. We have an example of the storyboard. Here, makita ninyo, draft siya, rough sketches siya. Because this is actually in a purpose of kanang knowing how the story would flow out within the comic strip. Na before mag-come up sa comic strip ka draw, you have to first start with storyboard to plan everything. Ano siya. Now, why is it actually important that the comic strips should be included in teaching? We have here first, it is actually fun, interesting, and motivating. It refers that kanang lingaw siya. If you actually introduce this to these children during your discussion, dali ra nimo ma-catch up ang ilang attention so that they will come back, no? Their attention will actually come back to you. Para mamino na sila, di na sila ma-distract. Yan na. Then, it can be used in different school grades. Different school grades, meaning there would be no limitation on who can actually read these comic strips. It could be the kindergartens of early age, or it could be the college students na no. Walay limitation. There are no bands of certain age range or limits within reading the comic strips. It's good for all though. Aside from that, it can also be used in different school subjects. Different school subjects, it means nga, pwede siya in any types of subjects. As long as it actually relevant, no? Relevant topic meaning kanang if the subject is actually about math, then the comic strip must be all about math as well. Ano ba? Dapat mo connect. So makauna kita, we can actually say that comic strip is actually very flexible as a way to introduce topics within the class. Next, it also helps develop the students' high order thinking skills. How so? Because, as I said earlier, um, comic strips, that is about certain stories that the people have actually encountered. No? Mga stories yun na sila majority. And when you have your students actually create their own comic strip, they have to think of the flow of the story, what the story will be all about. That triggers their kanang thinking skills as a student. Ma-develop na nila. Kaya maghuna-huna man jud ka. Next, it engages students with multimodal text. When we talk about multimodal text, it refers to the different modes of communication, no, between people. It could be in a verbal, facial expression, body language, no? Nga na ba? Nga, as you may have known, comic strips do have dialogues. Nangyayari dialogues. Nga, with these dialogues, ma-help silang ma-expose bitaw on how to converse with people appropriately, to read the atmosphere within a certain surrounding. Yan na. Kailain sad kaayo nga mag-talk ka, magkuan ka sa comic strip no, na certain dialogue that you're actually sad. Namatyan ka, dapat magluwa-luwa ka. Pero ang imong gi-express sa drawing nimo sa comic strip is nagnising yan, nagsayaw-sayaw. Nga na ba? So, if you expose the students to these comic strips, they will be able to know how to run a conversation with people. Nga na ba? Next is contents are easier to process, understand, and then remember. Oh, may nga siya nga. Comic strips does not have any complicated parts in it. No? Easier to process, yeah. Easier to understand. Why? Because, kuan man, the dialogues do not have contain any difficult words. Aside from that, it also suitable for all ages. O, diba? So, dali na siya. And aside from that, it is a story that actually fits within a single page. So, dali na siya mahinumduman. Mas, yeah. And then, it can also be used to teach 5 macro skills. If we talk about macro skills, no, these are listening, reading, writing, speaking, and viewing. And so, exposing your students in this kind of kanang comic strip ko, no, they will be able to develop these macro skills. Na, viewing pa lang, nala ka sa drawings mo, makakita ka. Speaking, we have dialogues. You know, when you're writing, you can actually write your own story plots, and more and more. Yeah? So that sums up the importance. Now let us proceed with the uses of the comic strip. How will you actually use it within a certain class atmosphere? First, we have digital storytelling. Okay, digital storytelling meaning mag-tell kag story. No, but unlike from our usual way of kanang telling a story, no, in nga puros ra text, this one has drawings which it could be entertaining for the readers to read po. Next, retell a story, no, retell a story meaning you can actually had it out, no, comic strips to your students and tell them to recreate the story, to re to make their story, no, in a comic strip na mga story nga ilan lang nabasa. You can have them that as an activity. Next, it could also be for writing activity. Meaning, you can have a comic strip in your class and then mag-leave kag mga blank boxes dito and have them guess like unsa kay sunod nga mahitabo ani nga comic strip. Or you could actually have your students sketch their own characters, no, within the story. Sketch sila. Yan na. It could be for activities, writing activities. Kaya then is for raising awareness. As I've stated this earlier, comic strips are like grabbing attention dito ng mga type of art. Anybody who could actually see the comic strip would have their attention being taken, no? Ma-divert the attention towards the comic strip itself. You can actually use this advantage in order to kanang set an information towards the minds of the people, especially to the students. Pwede ka mag-raise awareness with bullying, that bullying is not good. Could be racism, not good. Yan na ba? To raise awareness. Then lastly, it teaches language. As I've stated this earlier, when you language, it teaches them how to reply to a certain question appropriately with their grammar. Okay, written naman ng comic strips. No? Yeah. Daghan pa. More and more. Okay? So, that would be all with the topic of the comic strip. To sum it up again, to sum it up, no? Comic strip, it refers to the series of drawings within a certain page in order to narrate a story, no? Yeah. Usually, the dialogues are written inside a balloon box. Yeah, commonly seen within newspapers to entertain. Yeah, it is important that we include this in teaching because it is interesting. It does not have any age limit on who can read this. It can also be appropriate to any kinds of subjects, and it can help develop the students' thinking skills. It can also help them kanang learn easily without, as well as to develop their math skills. It can also be used through kanang an activity for raising awareness, for entertainment specifically, or it can also help them kanang actually learn languages. Okay, that would be all for the chemistry. Now, let us then proceed with the challenges facing the popular literature. When we talk about popular literature, it refers to the literatures bitaw. It refers to the books that are actually well known among people. Let's just say, for example, kang J.K. Rowling Harry Potter is a very well known story na all over the place. Yeah, it's speaking to being popular, meaning well known siya all over the world. But we have still challenges in a popular literature, just as how contemporary have it over the previous discussion. No, there are challenges in popular literature that actually have like the possibility for the popular literature itself to decline. Meaning, kung unsa to kang well-known ang kaning books, mga unsa ka well-known most, nag-give possibility ko no, nga mo decline siya, mawala sa uso. How come? There are certain challenges. Let us discuss this one by one. Number one, postmodernism. Ang gini siya. Postmodernism. How? Postmodernism refers to like kanang accepting the new things, the changes that are happening all over the world within our surrounding. Okay? Kung unsa kuno yung mga bag-o sa karon nga mga panahon, i-embrace na sa literature. Nya mo kuno na yung mag-cause a decline sa popularity. How man? How? No, when we talk about changes, daghan na kay changes karon, especially in the literary world. No? There goes new words. No? New words kuno no. Daghang mga new words. We they call daghan kay ko yung mga bag-o nga words ini emerge karon. It's just ato pa lang words. Okay, lodi, idol. Yan ba? Mga lodi, mga petmalu. Yan sa una sa inyo. Ito karon. Hey, guys. Na yung mga nga words. Then these words, may mga tag-postmodernism accepting these words to be included in the literature. Nga if you are kanang kaning mga words, as I stated as earlier, mga bag-o. So if a reader actually encounter this within the book, na possibility nga di sila kasabot. No? The thing that we thought is actually correct interpretation, di ay. Kaya hindi na siya nga word, hindi pasabot. Right nga na ba? Nga ba? Muna sa postmodernism. Okay? Kind of embracing the new things, the changes that are actually happening in the literary world. Next, mass media. Mass media. Very well known, very popular. Mingon sila nga, popular literatures, these books won't be touched because of mass media. We already have TV. We already have YouTube. No? Na natay internet wherein we can actually watch movies. No nga, gi-interpret na po siya sa gikan sa libro. Gikan na siya sa libro. So rather than reading a book nga ingani kabaga, if naanay movie nga na mag-suffer kung makabasa, mataas kayo. Ingana na siya. Although people from before can actually read these kanang thick books, no? That is because less raman silang distractions. Wa man sila TV sa una. Yung ilaharang mode of entertainment is to actually stroll around the garden. May ingana ra ba? So mo to. Unlike karon. Next, lots of books are bad. No? We talked about lots of books are bad. You know? So being a popular book does not actually signify that the content of that book itself was actually beautiful and award-winning. Okay? There could be instances na popular book lang siya because of its ambiguous plots. Okay? Yan na siya. And this could be treated as a challenge among readers. Let's just say no, sa ako alang personal experience with regard to these books. There's this one time na I was actually looking for a new book to read. Nahod na ako gibasa. Yan, kanang nangita ko sa internet. What good books could I actually read? Nangay ko sa ubang fellow readers ko. They all recommend me Invisible Dragon. Invisible Dragon. Bugin na ilaha. Wherever I go, mag-search ko mga books. Sila, ang ina-recommend good guy. Invisible Dragon. So I was curious, no? Kanang nindutan mo isa the way they actually expressed to have me read the book. Muro maging nindot. So akong kitry basa. Ito pagbasa na ako kay ambiguous mga plot. Like, it is actually the story of a dragon, no? An invisible dragon who actually fought with humans. No? Naidaghang humans ko noon, nangita niya, nakigubat ang mga humans niya. How did it actually see the invisible dragon nga? Nakigsong pa man sila gubat kay invisible man, di ba? Kaya mo to, di ho, kanang pagkahuman ginakbasa atong kalibro, I decided to stop reading for a while because na-fresh pa bito sa akong utak. Like, why has this become so popular? Yeah, bati masyag plot. Maring na ba? Mo to. That sums it up, okay? Just because it is popular doesn't mean that it's actually good. Muna, mo po nagginikayan sa kasagaran sa mga readers, especially if they have their own preferences and genres of books. Muna ay decline. No? Na-decline sa story kay di na sila ingon kay muhimog nindot nga books ba. Majority is for fun na lang. Yan na. Next is the rise of other academic subjects. I don't know if my interpretation about this challenge is correct, but sa una, there is only English subject that actually handles the the universal language. Okay? English lagi ko na ang nag-handle of universal language. So, all we have to think about or to worry about when it comes to reading is actually our vocabularies. Moro na sa una. But because of the emergence of different subjects nga nag-handle po ng same language, it has become difficult for us. Nanay science, nanay math, hinga na ba? And if we actually include this within the literary piece, it will come off as difficult. Di lang kay English nga vocabulary ang atong i-worry. The same goes to the other subjects, especially karon nga naatay genre ang gitawag og science fiction. Aside from worrying our vocabularies, we also have to worry about what kind of topics are being presented in a science fiction book. Kinaghang mga bagong terms because of science, like extraterrestrial, aliens, yan nga ba? Mga bagong words, kailangan ko na ito i-mind. Automatic connection to a job after college. Okay? Ano sila? The purpose of popular books is to entertain. Majority of the contents of the popular books is to entertain. So, even kuno if mubasa pa ka nga book, di ko na siya katabang nimo to help you find a job after college. Nila. Especially since popular siya. This is from my own personal experience. Although popular siya, well known. So, meaning, it will be expensive. Yeah, ako'y kuan gid ana ba nga. I like collecting books as much as I like reading. Nagpapalit ko ng Harry Potter, well known na dyan ng Harry Potter. Kung ganahan ko collection ana. Nagpapalit ko sa papa niya. Each book is very expensive, kid. So, gianaan na akong papa. Palit pa ka ana, unsa day purpose ana. Di ba? Makatrabaho ka, ini kung mani mo eskwela. Basa ka na. Naanaan ko eh. Nga na sila. Because majority of the purpose of popular literature is actually to entertain. Parang sarap ka makakita og book nga mutabang gid nimo. to find a job after college. Ya di masad sa ingon nga moadto ka sa workplace no, nya magtopic niyo about Harry Potter but it all about documents or about papers, business plans. Yan na. Kung Harry Potter na to, muna sa naman siya no automatic connection to job. Usually na decline. Next is inaccessibility. Mo gina yun. Because it is popular, it is well known, it is well sought. So ang prices expensive, lisod, paliton, kay mahal na siya. Next is overly academic language. Overly academic language meaning it refers to like having the book containing difficult words, profound words within its content. And majority of the purpose about this actually is because it is to make it look appealing to the eyes of the readers. Okay? Mas appealing siya. Lain naman jud kuno kayo ang written in Jejemon style ug written in academic style mo, di ba? Because academic styles are more kanang pleasing to the eyes. So they tend to use kanang profound words bitaw para kuno nindot tan-awon as a book. Yeah, if you were to be given a chance to choose, unsa di mo gusto? Um, lisod nga words pero nindot tan-awon nga libro or sayon nga words but entertaining. Kasi ako adto ko sa entertaining ko kanang dali ra ko makasabot. Kay unsa man yung purpose sa libro? For decorations? Malipay na di ka magtan-aw ra ka sa mga word nga wala nimo nasabtan. Kaysa sa makasabot ka sa mga words na lingaw pa kag basa. Di ba? Muna. Usually mga good books that have difficult words and deep meanings usually does not attract the readers. The same goes ako katuloy ko nga nagbasa ko og Sherlock Holmes nga Hound of Baskervilles wa man ko nahuman ato kay tas lang kay mga words. Same goes with this. Okay? Next is depth of aesthetics. Okay, mo gini. Depth of aesthetics actually refers nga the popular literatures nowadays is actually very different from before. Okay? Sa una manggod, the purpose of literature is to actually kanang showcase the beauty of the surrounding. Kanang nindot nga book, nga nindot og meaning, nindot og plot, nga na ba, nindot og purpose. But nowadays, if we're talking about like the um books nowadays, no, authors is authors nowadays incomparable from before. Kay kung sa una ang mga author kay naghimog literature for beauty this time, naghimo ra sila literature for money. Catching up the deadlines. Nga na ana nilang ilaha para sa kwarta. Di na para i-express ang beauty. Muna, kung makakita mo karon sa mga libro, very straightforward na lang ang mga details sa content. Di para sa una nga na rhetoric, figurative speech, languages, nga na ba? Panindot gid. Unlike now, direct na. And that would be all, everything for my topic about the challenges facing popular literature. Okay. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a nice day.